NoFap, it's not easy. You start trying to cancel an addiction that's been planted in you for years and years. You start making progress. Streaks keep getting longer and longer. 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, but you keep relapsing. You did much progress. You fap rarely, but you still struggle. You still have to fight the temptations off, fight the urges. It never gets natural, and you're always using your discipline to resist. I've just relapsed a few weeks ago. It was a sad fail, but it's only been a few weeks. And I know for sure that I'm not failing NoFap anymore. Whatever happens, I'm not failing it. And there is only one reason why. So, long ago, in the 70s, a psychologist, Bruce K. Alexander, did a series of experiments on rats called the rat park. He first took 2 different cages and put 1 rat in each. Then he gave 1 rat normal water and to the other he gave water with cocaine. Obviously, the second one died of an overdose. But then he decided to see if the addiction to the substance he put in the water had nothing to do with the environment they were in. So he took a bunch of rats and he put them in a big cage with toys and the water with cocaine in it. The only difference here was that now the rats were in a cage where they could socialize and where they could have sex. The rats obviously drank the water because they needed it to survive, but none of the rats died of an overdose, and none of the rats became addicted to the water. And the only difference here was that the rats were not alone, and all their needs were fulfilled. If we look at this experiment, we can try to understand the reason behind our fapping addiction, the final enemy to this journey, and the thing we have to defeat to conquer NoFap. Because you see, from this experiment, you can clearly understand that addictions create when the fundamental needs are not fulfilled. So you might logically think that the reason you fap is because you lack sex in your life, and sex is one of the primal needs, so that must be the reason behind all the NoFap struggles. And that's pretty true. Sex is one of the primal needs of a human, and in 99% of the cases it's not fulfilled. But there have been a lot of hyper successful people who went ages without sex, and they didn't go crazy, even if they didn't fulfill one of their main needs. And on the other side, we've got people who have sex and still fap a lot, sometimes even preferring fapping over having sex with their girlfriend. I don't know how to talk. Please help me. So that's not the problem. Yeah, sure, removing the craving for sex would probably make us win NoFap instantly, but then you would ruin all the meaning behind it. And we need the craving for sex as a fuel. Sexual energy is the best fuel to propel us towards our goals, and we can just try to eliminate it. It doesn't make sense anymore. But then, what's the actual problem? What's the enemy you have to beat to conquer this journey? Well, all addictions originate from an unfulfilled need, and we already understood that the lack of sex is not that big of a problem. So, what's the deal here? Meaningful connections. The proof of this is simply the fact that sites like OnlyFans became so fucking popular in so little time. People not only crave sex more than ever before, they crave meaningful connections. We all crave meaningful connections as never before in history. Just think about all the meaningful connections you have in your life. Probably 0. The people in your classroom or workplace, nah, you don't really care. Most of them you wouldn't even speak to if you weren't forced in the same room together. Your family, probably it's already been destroyed. Your father is 90% of the time somewhere else, working a shitty 9 to 5, and when you're all together, you just argue. Friends? No, you're just friends with the same drug, playing video games or going to parties, same thing. The truth is that nowadays, no matter how social you are, you're going to be somewhat lonely. All the connections feel hollow, futile. We have no brothers to share our accomplishments with, to share our struggles with. We are lonely. Just imagine what it would be like if you lived with a group of guys that you would die for, and you all strive to achieve the same goal. Do you think you would risk relapsing? Of course not. NoFap wouldn't even be a thing then. Your brain wouldn't even think of the existence of fapping. It's just too focused on the grind. You have people around you, fully concentrated on the grind, that don't even think about fapping, and you are going to be the pussy? Of course not. When you have a group of close friends, you start rising each other up. Nobody would fall back or slow down because no one wants to be the loser of a group. It's a constant competition for perfection. And then, fapping is not even a problem anymore. This is the answer. Establishing meaningful connections is the solution to conquering NoFap. I know it's not sexy, it doesn't sound good, and it's not the simple solution to the problem, but this is the way. You can decide to make the streak longer, or you can decide to just quit fapping and win NoFap. You can decide to count the days or make the days count. This is the way to destroy the problem from its roots. But how do you create meaningful connections in this modern society where everything is fucked? Well, you have 2 options. You can find one or you can create one. The first one is the normal one. You just find a like-minded individual and you team up with him. But good luck with that, because doing that online, yeah, I mean, it's easy, you have big communities of self-improvement and red pill, but creating really strong connections online it's also difficult because it's not the same as doing it in the real world. Yeah, I mean, sure, having friends on Discord to grind with is cool, but it's not that powerful. You can always just quit Discord and all of that is gone. You need real friends in real life that think like you. And this type of people you can't just find easily. Nowadays everybody is down to the programming of the system. They're all NPCs, slaves to the matrix. What I want you to do is to create an army. Take people that are ready to escape the matrix and create a connection with them. You're soldiers fighting a war. Start looking for people around you and start bringing them up. Start creating new people of value in the world. Make them go on NOFAP, on self-improvement. Teach them how not to be a slave to the rat race. And then you'll have like-minded people to bond with. A strong community of brothers to rely on. There are many people out there, in your school, at your workplace, just waiting to get free from the matrix. And your job is to awaken them. And then you'll have the most meaningful connections ever. And NoFap will not even be the problem. Just like in this video. This video is no more about NoFap or not relapsing, because it was never about that. NoFap was never the main thing. These are some minor topics. The problem is another. We have to take back the things they've robbed us from. Meaningful connections, ambitions, peace and freedom have all been removed for the sake of making us good slaves. And we have the holy mission to change this. So now go and find your brothers.